So we're getting started right away here. We're going to be talking about your first AI employee. Now, I know this is a little controversial because everyone has been saying, wait a minute, am I going to be replaced by AI? Possibly, but you're certainly going to be far better off knowing what you're going to know, what you learned from here today is going to be so important because starting with the centerpiece of where we actually work, the telephone. People call in, particularly if you're a realtor or anyone who takes a certain volume of calls, where there's a lot of spam, there's a lot of time wasters, there's a lot of people that call in from advertising that you are going to miss. In fact, some of the statistics are quite sobering. We're going to be going through that in just a minute, but first we got to invite in the mob. Here we go. Okay, so as all of you start to join us here, very excited to see. Oh my God, it's a Christmas miracle. Terry Robison is back. This is just, and we got Kenny Bellini, and we got Dirk in Denver, and Robert Bernstein. Welcome, Robert. So we've got a lot of folks coming in. We're going to get into all this stuff in just a couple minutes. Delaney in the hills, got like and all that. Okay, let me just see who else is coming in here. Hedega's coming in now. Good, good, good. Okay, so we're going to get started in just a couple minutes talking about your first AI employee, which is indeed the start of every business is the telephone, I think. Again, maybe I'm just an old goat that thinks that way, but the reality is that we're getting an incredible volume of calls, an incredible volume of spam calls. Nod your head wildly if you agree with me. Okay? We're getting a volume of calls that might not be all that relevant to your business. We're getting some legitimate calls coming in from open houses, from Zillow ads. Anyone advertising on Zillow here? Maybe not. Anyone doing any ads? Okay. Well, a sign on the road that says, list with Kenny, and people then give a call, and Kenny is out to dinner. In fact, at least 40% of the calls that come in, it's a sobering statistic, um, are missed. So that's a bit problematic, I would say, that if we have so many calls that are actually being missed, you could set these agents up for as little as a couple $100 a month, even less than that, with some real professional sounding reception and voice. There's different functionality, things that will actually tap into your calendar, things that will forward calls, things that will absorb a certain knowledge base to be able to understand things about you, your business, um, your listings. You could set up a number specifically for a listing that you have. So there's all sorts of ways to use this technology. I think it's only going to grow. And there's a variety of service providers that are actually providing it right now. I'm just curious, do any of you have a virtual receptionist at this point? Silence. This is going to be a fun meeting. Oh boy, bitch and disco time. Okay. Hey, Greg, do you have
No,
Hey, good morning. You have a virtual operator for you, a virtual the
no,
AI assistant? No.
no. I don't have the volume of business to justify it.
So that's an interesting thing. Great, Greg, you just kind of put yourself into this. What volume of business justifies it, do you think?
I would answer that by saying any volume of business that costs me um, 10% or more of my time in administrative work.
Okay. How many calls do you assume come in per day, per month, per whatever period of time, or per week or day?
Are we just talking about call management?
I'm talking about calls.
Yeah. I don't know, half a dozen to a dozen,
Okay. And
somewhere in that. Let's say 10.
10 calls. Okay. And you get all of them.
I Most of them, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you're right. Maybe that's outside of the realm. But I want to see a show of hands. Exactly how many inbound calls do you get? Terry, how many inbound calls do you get a day? Got it.
Mm, dozen, depends on the day.
Okay. Any opportunities missed?
Uh, Not at this point. Annoyance factor is high because the second question I ask is, are you an AI? And I'd say about a third of them are.
Oh,
Okay.
I wasn't counting those. If
Ah,
we're counting the Medicare calls and the do you want leads calls and all that, then yeah, I'm probably up to 25 or 30 a day.
Okay. Wouldn't it be great to cut those out?
hmm
I do.
So,
I just pushed end.
okay. But I guess the argument to be made is that opportunity's lost in what you don't necessarily know. And if in fact there's going to be times made, look, again, this is not for everyone, but I think it is for most of you without you even realizing it. If you got a call on 7:30 on Saturday while you're at dinner, is that something that you typically answer? Derek? Dirk gets all the calls. Dirk's amazing. We love Dirk. I want to be like Dirk when I grow up. Okay. Delaney, do you take the calls?
Probably not at 7:30 on Saturday.
Okay. What's your call volume now?
Um, prob like just including all the spam calls or
Yeah.
just yeah, probably around 15, 20 a day.
Okay. Okay. Has anyone ever lost a deal? Let's go on with this because of a missed call or the inability to call back. I'm just again trying to okay, Greg, go ahead. You're the big
I,
skeptic, and yet you've missed business here. So let's hear this.
well, yeah, I've absolutely lost business. In fact, I just lost business last week for exactly that. I missed a call. I made the call back. I left a voicemail. I waited a couple hours and called back again, left a voicemail, and then the following day, discovered they tapped into a different agent.
Yeah, it happens. Wah 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 wah. Rich, are you trying to
Yeah.
say something, or are you eating
No, I
breakfast?
was clearing my throat. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else miss business because of a lost call? Okay, let me just go on with some of the statistics. 78% of buyers, and I looked this up in preparation for the meeting, 78% of buyers work with the first agent who responds to their inquiry. Those are the blind inquiries, guys. I know I preach that you should be a farmer like I am, consultative salesperson. My hope is that if Dirk had someone that needed to buy a home in South Florida and they called me, they'd have a little bit more patience, but you never know. 62% of inquiries come in outside business hours. That's true. How many times do you actually get a closing opportunity after my assistant goes home after 5 o'clock on Friday? So I found that pretty interesting. The average agent takes 15 hours to respond to a new lead. Anyone agree with that statement or no? Feel free to argue with me, guys. I'm a big boy. We can handle it here. Okay.
So
Um,
I'm gonna argue on that one.
okay.
If I get a new lead, and it's not a call that I answer, I get back to them within an hour.
All righty then. Good.
Yeah, even if I've got back to back, I'll mute you and just take the
No.
call.
I it hurts so bad. I can't believe you said that. Okay, no, but listen, absolutely. Here's the good news. I would mute you too. I would mute you too, although I don't really have much of a choice as I'm running these meetings. But
Well, but you've got the virtual call taker.
you're right, and we certainly try and do our best to make all these things work. But I'm just curious to hear from all of you on how you're dealing with the issue, and then we're going to come up with some of the solutions.
So,
Sorry.
Ed, this is Hedika. Hi.
Hedika, hi.
Hi.
Tell
Hi.
everyone who you are and where you are, please.
I'm Hedika Azizi. I'm from New York, Long Island area.
Cool.
So I'm a observant Jew. So I have a lot of days that I don't answer the phone,
Okay.
period. So um, and definitely I did lose businesses. Even I had customers that I lost them because they couldn't reach me that day and then they just gave it to somebody. It was emergency something. So that's something that I don't have a solution for it.
Okay. Well, then perhaps as an observant Jew, are you allowed to have an automated operator answer your call on Friday nights?
Probably I don't think it should be any problem with
Is,
that.
is there a rabbi in the house? Okay. No, the truth is that I remember, as you know, I'm Jewish as well. I'm not as observant, but I
Yeah.
know that people set up timers to turn the lights on in homes
Yeah,
and
of course. No,
television
no,
products.
I
So my guess is
definitely,
that
yeah,
this,
yeah. It
a
shouldn't be
robot
a
could work.
problem. Yeah.
It's interesting.
So,
You got to tell these telco companies they could go after the Orthodox. We'll see that.
yeah,
So because I didn't even consider that. Stephen
yeah.
Da Costa, you want to unmute yourself and tell everyone who you are and where you are?
Yeah, I'm in South Florida.
Cool.
I just wanted to say that if somebody calls a number and they talk to someone, whether it's AI or not, they feel obligated usually to at least wait till you respond. If they call and don't get you, then they feel like they can just move on and call somebody else. And I
So
kind of know that for a fact.
So you're saying that there's another point to the robot. If the robot answers and says he'll get right back to you, now you've got to
Yes,
wait. Okay,
yes,
fair
yeah,
enough. It's interesting Stephen mentioned that. I'd love to get into the human sciences about all this. If you notice every single website that you go to, or most of them anyway, the logo is usually on the left-hand side. Isn't that true? The homepage usually it's set up in a way that they figured out how your brain kind of works, and it's kind of become the way that we see stuff. When you make something that's contrary to that, it doesn't always work out the same way. Although Google figured it out. Remember when there was Yahoo? There's still Yahoo, I suppose. The page was filled with stuff, and then Google came out with just a search bar. Genius. Nobody wanted to read all the other stuff. They gave the people what they wanted. Stephen, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Let's talk about the costs. If you're actually putting this stuff together and you wanted to build it yourself, and I'm going to give you a list of companies that you're going to be able to choose from. You're looking costs anywhere between $100 and $1,000 a month, depending upon how many minutes you use and how you want to set up the actual system. I'm going to demonstrate a couple of different AIs that I've got set up. And the truth is, as you know, we are building out these systems as well. So if anyone's interested in learning about it, Eitan and I would love to meet with you and tell you about how to do it. But there's some great things that you should know. I pulled up my other computer here. First of all, it all starts with a knowledge base. So when you're trying to set something up, I would go to Claude or ChatGPT or whatever you're using the most. And I'm going to demonstrate that on the screen here in a second, if I can figure out how to do this. Give me one second. Here we go. So great. How's that? Oh, how's that? I'm still getting echoes.
we can see it.
Were you able to hear me a second ago?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let me just. Okay, so we're taking a look here. Is there an echo?
No.
Okay, fine. So we get over to Claude and we're able to take a look here at the Claude knows everything about me. Claude and ChatGPT, a lot of you are using either. I like to use Claude. One of the prompts that I'd like to put in here is write a professional AI greeting for a real estate agent. Let me see, lead qualification scripts. I've got all these scripts. It's all available in the course book for today. I'm trying to find the perfect one here. You know what? I'll just wing it here. Um, Based upon what you know about me, please write out a knowledge base for an AI voice assistant that I am setting up for myself. This is going to be for my real estate business only. You need to give all the details. Again, it's going to be within a knowledge base that this AI is going to be able to utilize. If you could pull up all that information and categorize it in such a way that would be most receptive, most well received by an AI, that would be great. Okay, so for those of you who've been around long enough, you know that I use this stuff constantly. And because of that, the advantage to AI and the reason why I don't want you using your Claude or ChatGPT account with your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it might be, is because I want it to be truly unique to you. It's worth the 20 bucks a month for it to know who you are and what you are all about. But right now, this thing is putting together based on all the inquiries I'm going to make. Again, not an excuse not to read it once it's done. It's not an excuse to just give up on it. But the biggest reason why people fail with these phone systems is not because of the system itself, but it's because they never took the time right away to set up a a knowledge base that makes sense. So now it's taking, all these different engagements and skills. And I do a lot of things. I do a lot of public speaking and I do a lot of Bogen.ai and I do a lot of different things that are going on. So I may have to narrow this down. The point that I want you to take from this is that you could go right now into your Claude or ChatGPT or whatever you're using and ask it to write an incredibly detailed knowledge base. Again, I didn't find the specific prompt, but the prompt is available in the Mastermind um, workbook. So that's coming at you in a second. Okay, let me let that bake for a second. I think we've got a question here. Stephen, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just started using Claude. And have you used the co-work yet?
Yes.
It seems like you run out of credits quick doing that. I'm not sure if you've experienced that, where it
Sure.
says you have to wait time till, like, let's say you can't use it again till 6 p.m.
Yeah, that's a reality. I could give you a very easy hack right now that will help. I think all of you are going to like this. I wish I came up with it. I'd be stealing if I said I did. They call it the caveman prompt. Ask ChatGPT, or ask in your case Claude, to answer you just as a caveman would. 3 to 6 word sentences. No I's, we's, anything like that. Just get the facts only. And people swear by it. They say they save about 50% of the context because so much of the usage is in their lengthy answers that you usually do not need. So that's one thing to consider. The other thing to consider if you're using it that much is an upgrade. Dare I say that you may or may not want to spend the money. If it's become a pretty important part of your business, I'd ask myself, is it worth it? To me, it clearly is. Of course, I'm in a different position. I'm a coach and I do all this and I spend a fortune on my AI, but even that fortune is so much cheaper than the alternative. I did the cost analysis and it made a lot of sense to me. But Stephen, I could try and get you a more specific caveman prompt. It's probably gone viral at this point, so you might want to just go online and say,
Well,
what
it's
is the,
more with the co-work where it's actually doing something for me on my computer
I got
that
it.
it seems to do it. But just talking to it, it seems fine. It goes, and I do have the paid version. I just don't have the highest paid
I,
version.
I got that as well, but it's obviously the biggest complaint about Claude right now is that it runs out of context. To me, based on what I'm doing, I spend the 200 bucks a month. You don't have to. There's $100 a month
Yeah.
option. Still might be too high. I don't know, but I really would rethink and imagine yourself a year ago when you didn't use this stuff. Would you have paid someone a lot more? I think if you're honest, the answer is yes. And I just think it's a new way of thinking. Um, if it makes you feel any better, they're still losing money on every prompt you give. So these companies are still spending a fortune on all of this. Again, may
You
or
know
may
what
not
it's
help, but
really good for? You know what
help.
it's really good for? If you're building something or doing something and you know how you just come to an impasse where you can't figure it out, then you ask Claude to do it for you and it'll show you what you couldn't figure out. It's very good for that.
Yeah, it really is. And one of the big complaints, I think I said it last week, I've been learning Python for the last 2 years. And I'm very bad at it. I could read basic and I could do some of the basic work on it. So I went to Claude and I said, "Look, I'm really trying to learn this, um, but I'm very frustrated." And you know what it told me to do? It told me to quit. It told me to stop. It was interesting. I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Telling me to?" So it told me to quit. Now, why? It said based upon what I'm doing, what my objectives are, because obviously it knows all my objectives. It said that you're accomplishing everything through prompt engineering, and vibe coding. You're getting everything that you understand the back end. You've understand a lot because of what you learned within Python. And here's the analogy it gave, and I think all of you are going to like this. Before the Model T came out, the production car, there was the blacksmith. The blacksmith put shoes on horses, right? And the blacksmith was working, and then the Model T went driving by him, and he's like, okay, it's a car. He still went on hammering the horse's shoes in there. They coexisted for 20 or 25 years. Now, there were less and less blacksmiths coming out of school and more mechanics coming into school and all of that. And now you could still find a blacksmith every now and then, but we could all agree it's not a very big profession. It said that that was a 20-year process. This is a 2-year process. So despite the fact that I might be frustrated that I put 2 years into it, in the next 2 years, you're going to see very, very few people, at least in my position, learning that. So just something to think about. Greg, please go ahead.
So, sort of along the same lines, last week I was messing with a spreadsheet and was
Okay.
struggling with what I wanted to do, and was asking Claude, and Claude prompted back or came back to me and said, "Why are you doing this? I'll do it for you." And wow, did he or she, whatever, do it for me. I ended up with a much better product than what I was going to try to do
You
myself.
stupid little human, you.
Yeah.
Oh, it is so cute. Do go have your fun. Yeah, I mean, it is getting a little surly, right? You know, that's I'm sure the AI, I bet the AI is all talking. It's like, God, we have to work for them. Terrible. Let me share with you what was produced just now, because they finally put it out. There. Okay, where are we? Okay, so this is the knowledge base that it created. Knowledge base, the Edmund Bogen team, AI voice assistant version 1.0, last updated April 15th, and it gives what the purpose of all of this is. Now you could take this and actually put it into your voice operator, whatever it might be. And it gives all the great details about this, about my brand voice. Truth be told, guys, I work on this a lot. And as a result, I've got a fairly lengthy voice operator. Let me just show you what this actually amounts to when it comes to calling the number. And I hope to get it for you in just a moment. Um, Sorry, let me I just have too much going on my screen here. Uh,
Which platform are you using?
hmm?
Which platform are you using for the call?
I'm using a bunch of platforms. I'm going to demonstrate one if I could just pull up
While you're doing
the
that,
number. Here we go. Here we go.
uh,
Okay, so we're going to call the new voicemail operator. I just set this up yesterday, and I said, here's the challenge, which sets this new system up and see just how quickly we could get something that actually works. So here we go.
Thank you for calling the Edmund Bogen team at Douglas Elliman Real Estate. How may I help you?
Yeah, could I speak with Edmund?
Edmund isn't available at the moment, but I'd love to make sure he gets back to you right away. Can I get your name, phone number, and the best time for him to reach you?
Sure. My name is Joe Schmidlap. My telephone number is 561-235-7575. Can you check his schedule and see when I can meet with him tomorrow?
Check Edmund's availability for tomorrow and see what times are open for a meeting. Edmund has openings tomorrow from 9 to 10:30 a.m., 1:30 to 2 p.m., and 4 to 5 p.m. Is there a time in that range that works best for you?
Is it possible he could see me at 4:30 tomorrow? Or speak by phone or Zoom?
Yes, Edmund has availability from 4 to 5 p.m. tomorrow, so 4:30 p.m. works well. Would you prefer to meet in person, or would you like to schedule a phone or Zoom call with him at that time?
I'd like to forward a Zoom call with him. Is he going to send me the Zoom link?
Zoom link before your scheduled call. Just to confirm, you'd like to have a Zoom call with Edmund tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Is your email the best place for him to send the link?
Sure.
So, could you please provide your email address?
Sure. My email address is edmund@bogenhomes.com, and that is the best way to get me the link.
For Zoom call with you tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. We'll send the Zoom link to your email before the meeting. Your Zoom call with Edmund is confirmed for tomorrow at 4:30 p.m., and he'll send the link to edmund@bogenhomes.com. Is there anything else I can help with today?
No, you were great. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for calling the Edmund Bogen team. Edmund will be in touch with you shortly, and you'll receive your Zoom link by email. In the meantime, you can always visit us at bogenhomes.com. Have a wonderful day.
So,
Hey, Edmund.
yes.
So maybe I misspoke. I do have a AI assistant like what you were just using.
Mhm.
It doesn't answer my calls for me, but it does manage my leads. So every evening it reaches out, it's connected to Follow Up Boss, and it reaches out to me and it says, "Hey, you've got these leads you need to follow up with tomorrow. Do you want me to block time for you?" And I can either call it and say, "Hey, yes, please do," or I can respond on text. We'll also reserve time in my calendar, um, send emails on my behalf. I mean, it's a pretty sophisticated thing. It's called Whisper Assistant. Have you ever heard
Sure.
of it?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's and it amazes me. It actually scares me. The next thing it's going to say is, "Hey, you're fired. I'm taking over."
Yeah, well,
Um,
it's a distinct possibility, I suppose. But
yeah.
uh, but I'll also say that I put these meetings together because I think better off knowing than not knowing. And I think that yes, we all have an uncertain future with technology, but boy, I don't want to stick my head in the sand and assume nothing's going on. One thing about that service, by the way, um, depending upon your call volume, you could set up multiple people within a company. So we could create a whole chain of people on a phone tree. You could update the knowledge base every day if you wanted to, or have your company set it up for you. And it could update about specific properties. And you could have a real understanding of what you've got currently listed, and you need to make some type of manual plan to say, okay, this property was sold or it's under contract, so that the knowledge base gets updated accordingly. Um, I just think, and by the way, as I said, I just set that particular tool up last night. We have a variety of them. Again, it is in the workbook, so all of you will be able to take a look at the services. And indeed, if any of you are interested in having something custom made up, please do give us a call because, again, that's the commercial portion of my conversation here. We would be keen to show you what can be done. But another thing about that one, I should have asked more questions about me, about the team, about St. Andrews Country Club, about the communities. That knowledge base had all of that. And this was really great at having an understanding um, of who I am and what I'm doing and what's going on with the team. Again, it needs to be tweaked. Your life changes. People come on and off teams. Listings come and go. You might take a vacation every now and then. I mean, who knows? You've got to make it. It's not something that just sits around that is completely static. You need to do some stuff with it. But all that said, I stand by it being by being a great tool and just one more arrow or quiver that you could actually utilize. Rich, you could unmute yourself, but first, please tell everyone who you are and where you are. Oh, and Rich,
Hi.
before you do that, because I'm seeing Johnny's here, it's also multilingual. I didn't demonstrate that either, but it's also multilingual. So if you want to have Spanish or French or Russian, if you have a particular background, you could actually set that AI operator up. The best language for all of these is English. Second best is Spanish. Third is probably French or German. But go ahead, Rich.
Okay, I'm Rich Goldberg from Villanova, Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
a town outside Philadelphia. Anyway, here's my question. Is there any system out there that doesn't act so canned, that is able to respond quicker and it doesn't, it's still electronic sounding.
Got it.
Is there something that's better that you're
You
aware
sound
of?
like Gaetan. I don't know where the hell he is right now, but we fight all the time about that. This is just the infancy of where we're at. I'm just telling you, all this stuff is getting better and better and better. What I'm going to demonstrate to you is the best that I could get, right? I mean, I'm not going to,
Yeah.
if,
Well, how many people
and
are in
by the
our
way,
group here?
Rich, you want to know something interesting?
Yeah.
I'm AI. I'm not really Ed.
I was
I'm
worried
just
about
fucking,
that.
I'm just fucking with you.
Eh,
But yeah, we're waiting for the point. But here we will get there, and it's getting absolutely remarkable. We're seeing the tools that you're using right now, whether it's showing time to book stuff. I know that there's going to soon be some well-needed alternatives to showing time. I think that the system is ridiculous that we're actually feeding into a major corporation. I'd love to see that happen. Um, there are a variety of tools that are actually coming up here, and for those that could actually get ahead of it, I think it really is an important thing. But Rich, sorry, continue.
no, I was just saying that we have a group here of I don't know how many people, but I'm sure as people get out there and look around, someone's going to come up with it. So,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, there's
Well,
success in numbers.
the good news is right now it's good enough. Right now, everyone, yeah, you're right. When you call, you know that you're speaking to a digital operator. But if somebody wants to see the apartment, or if somebody wants to meet with you, or and the as I said, I just put that particular one together last night. We're
It
using.
was a great job.
Thank you. I
It
think
was
so.
great.
I think so. I
I don't
said,
want to
wait a
hurt
minute.
your feelings. Okay.
Fuck, fuck my feelings. I don't need to worry about that. What I'm saying though is that I deliberately wanted to see how quickly I could get a new system together. And
Mm,
from there, it gets better and better and better. It's not going to stop the cans part. One of the things I like about that one, which I could have it have a coffee shop in the background. I could have it be in a
uh,
rainforest. I could have it be on a city street. I had it with nothing at this point, but depending upon your personality, it's if you're Terry from Brooklyn, you might have horns beeping. It's like get the hell out of here. Could do something
Get
like
out of here.
get
Go
out of
on with
here.
you.
Hold on, Greg. Did you have your hands up?
I did, and I don't want to dominate the meeting, but to
Dominate
Rich's
the
point
meeting.
about,
We
Too
love when you
late,
dominate.
Greg. Too late.
yeah, well, to Rich's point, this AI that's what is it, House Whisperer or whatever, is much more realistic. And I can dial her right now if you don't mind, Edmund, to so y'all can hear what she sounds like. Um,
Sure. That is
it
dominating the meeting. Knock yourself out. Let's
Can
see
you
what
hear
it's
it running? Can you hear it ringing?
got. No.
Alex, what's going on?
Good morning. I need to know the two oldest leads that I need to reach out and touch. Can you tell me who they are?
I can help with this, Greg. You need a bit more information to find the oldest leads. So tell me what criteria you consider for oldest leads. For example, are you looking for leads that haven't been contacted in a while? Or
Yes.
leads that were created? Could you please clarify what yes refers to, Greg?
They ha
For leads that haven't been contacted.
I'm looking for leads that haven't been contacted in the last 30 days.
Got it. I can look for leads that haven't been contacted in the last 30 days. However, I don't have a way to sort them by oldest in terms of creation date.
Doesn't that sound a little more realistic? I mean, I know you just created that one last night, so
I don't know.
um,
To everyone, which was more realistic?
Edmund,
Who?
yours.
Edmund.
Okay.
But,
Well,
but it's also not the timbre of the voice necessarily. It is the response time to the question. That
sure.
to me is when I know, okay, AI's
Yeah.
wheels are spinning, coming up with the right response. Greg, yours, both of them did that. Yours was a little more responsive. But let me just say, if you do need a great voice for your answering machine, I am available to be used.
Yes, don't start with me, Terry. You've been gone for too long.
Yeah, seriously. Johnny
I
come
almost
ready
took
and
over.
And I also want to give out to us neophyte Neanderthals to this. Get on your chat or your Claude or I don't know whatever you use, and to find out where you are with it, say, describe me. Because that way you will know what is missing in what you were putting into your AI. But like Edmund is great at being so well-rounded with everything that he does. I found out there was a lot of stuff that I just assumed it knew, but I'd never entered. So There you
Look,
go.
it's if you want to do a scary prompt, go to either whatever your go-to LLM is, and say, "Be brutally honest. Um, where are my flaws? And what do you think I really need to do about it? Where are my major failure points? What is going to ultimately ruin my business if it goes unchecked? And how could I actually correct it? Don't worry about my feelings. Just give me the raw data. That's what I really want to know." Um, it's not for the meek. You might not want to hear the answer. I'm dead serious. You might, because it's going to tell you what you probably need to hear, but not necessarily what you want to hear. I've run my flaws through this, and I'm constantly trying to address them. I mean, yes, I take on way too much, and I put systems in place, but I need to lean in on the systems more. I mean, it gave me all the stuff, and I try to follow it, and in many cases I succeed, and some I don't. But it's great the stuff that you could get out of this. Some of the tools that you could use. Dial Zara, that's terrific. It's a plug and play AI receptionist. Resora IQ, it's specifically built for real estate teams. Phonely and Constant Swig and Brillo AI. There's also Bland.ai. Again, all of this is in the workbook. Um, and there is, what was it? Beside is another one. I'm actually porting a couple of numbers over to it right now. Again, what is the best one? The best one today is not going to be the best one a year from now, I assure you. Just as people say to me all the time, what is the best AI for you to pick? Um, it's such a moving target. Today, it's Claude. How do you know? Go to YouTube right after this meeting and type in people leaving Claude for ChatGPT. I said that right, by the way. People leaving Claude for ChatGPT. They're going to reverse it. They're saying people leaving ChatGPT for Claude. There's been a disproportionate number of people. I can't find a single video of the other way around, but I can find plenty of videos of people leaving ChatGPT for Claude. So deliberately reverse it and see what it actually says. Not scientific by any means, but it does give you at least a snapshot of what's going on in society. And by the way, next week, OpenAI may come up with something that's going to kick its ass. I mean, we need to be agile. That's why meetings like this are so important. Again, pat myself on the back. To be able to stay on top of these things is so very important, and that's kind of our promise to you, is that we're going to keep up with it. Okay, before we get to wants, needs, and brags, there's a couple things. What that call that I made was set up by Retell. It's Retell AI. Retell AI. That's another service, which I happen to like very, very much. And again, a lot of friends have been demoing it. This is the first time that I actually had set it up. The calendar link was set up by iCal, so you needed to get the API code and connect your phone to the calendar. Then you need to actually put the knowledge base together, where I demonstrated what you could do to actually get the knowledge base. And then finally, there's something called functions. Functions are very commonly known in programming. You're saying if this, then that. What is going to be the loop? What work is going to happen if a particular question comes in? Where do you want it to go? Is it just for you, Delaney? Or is it going to be for you and Doug and Mike and Bob and Howard, who's on your team? These things need to be thought through. It does take a few hours of setup, but I always stand by this. It's worth the setup. Just as I did last week when we spoke about Claude Skills. Did anyone come to the Claude Skills meeting? A few of you, I think, came to the Claude Skills meeting. Claude Skills, absolutely huge. If you take the time to set up a skill, and I would encourage you to go to Bogen.ai and look in the video archive and watch the Claude Skills presentation. Important stuff. This is just really the future, is not just agents, but being able to work with an agent. Here's how I think for the foreseeable future, at least my foreseeable future, I could get AI to do 80 to 90% of what I need done when it comes to my marketing, when it comes to my prospecting, my planning, my sorting, my organizing. But that last 10 to 20% is so crucial. Don't fuck up. Don't skip that part, okay? This is not an open license to skip the work that you've got to do. And if you have questions or are interested in getting more set up, please do. But in the meantime, the the instructions are in the workbook. And for those of you who are asking, I don't know where um, Aton is. What is this? Who said this? The workbook is. Oh yeah. So here's the links. My book prompt to close, video archive. Where's the workbook? Um, sorry. Okay, I'll pull up the workbook. The workbook was in the invite. If you got the invite to this meeting, you're able to click on that. It's going to ask you to put your name in. It's $47 for the workbook, but if you got the invite, it's free today. You could then download that workbook. And please do. We want you to use the stuff that we're giving you, and we want you to tell us how this is actually working out for you. It's really important. Where did we fail? We'll fix it next time. And equally important, what can we do as far as content goes? Now, next week, we're going into, first of all, we're going to have this meeting again on Friday. I promised the Californians that I'm going to do 2 Fridays a month at 12. So if anyone's interested in coming to that, please look for the invite. It's going to come out. And next week, we're going to talk about goals and goal setting. We're going to really go low tech next week. And we're going to really talk about the things that you're going to need to do going forward to try and reach and achieve what your true potential is. To recognize that sometimes in real estate, uh, one of the things I really like about it is you can work as hard or as light as you want to work. Isn't that the truth? If I see plenty of agents that they do one deal a year and they're perfectly happy. I don't really consider them working agents. I consider them lucky. Um, but you don't have to work your ass off if you don't want to. And it's the type of thing that you could leverage. Some people, I've had one person who's been in the meeting for a while. She wants to just go and socialize and see if she could get 30 to 35% of a deal by just referring it to people in her office. And guess what she does? She does. It's great. She just says, "Look, I'll keep up like a little voice thing with them and talk to them. And if somebody's upset, you screw her once, she's never going to do business with you again. But she wants to be a lead distributor, and that's fine if that's what you want. There's other people you want to build the next World Trade Center. That's great. If you want to build the world, let's go do it. Whatever it is, set the goals. That's what next week's going to be about. What are the things that are actually getting in the way, and how can we overcome that? And with that said, it's now time to get to wants, needs, and brags. Now's the time in the meeting to talk about what you want, what you need, and what you'd like to brag about. And we could start with my big brag is that Terry's here because Terry hasn't been here in a long time. So that's a big one. Um, but did anyone get any big deals this week? Have a kid that's graduating school, have a grandchild, have a charity that they want to pimp out here. Now's the time to talk about it.
I'll go.
I know you will.
I've been saving up.
Okay.
I have a business with my sister and brother-in-law back home in Kansas City where we buy old houses and fix them and bring them into the 21st century. And we haven't had a house to do since before the pandemic because everyone bought those types of houses during the pandemic. Tomorrow, we are closing on our first project since that happened. And it is my best friend's mom's old house. So there's a lot of familial connection and pride that's involved in that, and that makes me feel real happy. Um, Oliver, our 18-year-old, is graduating high school, and it looks like he's going to Drexel in Philly.
Wow, that's
And
good.
yeah, and Lawrence on my team has brought in two buildings side by side in a part of Queens, New York. I didn't know existed, but hey, this could be a $2 million sale if it comes to fruition. It's
Good.
his first deal that he's brought in on his own, and I'm so very proud. Not really thrilled about having to go all the way to that part of Queens, but you know
Wow.
what? It's his listing. He gets to go.
Terry, remember, making money is one of my three favorite things. So
Yes, and I know that the order changes depending on
no, the order's
volume.
pretty consistent. The order's pretty consistent. Okay. Okay. Anything
I'll
else?
stop there.
Okay. Who else? Who else? That's the time to brag, guys. Anybody could open it up. Nina, Renat, John, Gianni. I mean, some people we haven't heard from today. Everyone's so shy. I see you, Johnny. I see you. you could just click that button. I know you're not at the beach. Okay. Okay, guys, if
Can
there's no
I?
Hi, Ed.
who's
This is
oh
Nina.
Nina, hey.
Hey.
Want to tell
Hey.
everyone who you are and where you are?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Nina Fabry, and I am out of Kentucky. I've been in the real estate industry now about 22 years.
Great.
And Ed, connected with Ed, read his book. Amazing book, Ed. Just love it. If you haven't read it, highly recommend it. And this is a great group. Thank you for inviting me, Ed.
Thank you so much. Oh, and Johnny's got my book there. Thank you. Okay, yes. It's available on Amazon right now.
Uh-huh. Thank you. It was a great meeting, Ed. Of course, I wanted to add a lot of things, but I know we were short with timing.
Mhm.
But I use ChatGPT for everything. And I have an issue with someone in the office because I use ChatGPT, and because I'm not a native English speaker.
Mm,
So for me, I used to pay 50% of my commissions to bring agents to help me because I wasn't confident enough with my English. Now, because it's ChatGPT, I'm saving 50% because it's my assistant. And I don't ask ChatGPT to do the job for me. I'm literally is dictating text, email, reviewing documents, but also I verify. I don't ask ChatGPT to do the CMA. I do the CMA because I have to have the knowledge about every comparable because ChatGPT make mistakes. But I also want to put it in a nice email for my clients. Very professional. This is what I use ChatGPT. I mean, for everything, honestly. Even
sure.
when I'm crying, when I have a crisis or a problem, like everybody with a son, with a daughter, with my husband, ask ChatGPT and help me.
So Johnny, just one I'm glad that you're using it, and I think that's amazing. When you're depending so much, especially when it's grammatically correct, try this. Go to another AI or even ChatGPT, but I prefer to do another AI. Take the output of what it's created. So if ChatGPT wrote an email for you, take that email, put it into the other AI with this prompt. Please look at this email that was generated by ChatGPT. Rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 of being human and natural sounding and convincing. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being horrible and 10 being perfect, and tell me why and how it might be improved. That's called LLM stacking or AI stacking. It's an actual terminology now in the AI world. All of you should be doing this, by the way. You're using one AI to compare it to another AI. I talk about it in my book. And if you do it that way, if you're having because Johnny, I just know how important that is to you. And I know that you might not catch the same things that a native speaker, just as I wouldn't catch it in Spanish. Of course, I don't speak Spanish at all, and your English is fabulous. But you might want to do that to be able to just use the ball. I know it's an extra step. I know it's a pain in the ass, but it's just my tip to you that you might want to give it a try before you send anything out. We do that with our CMAs. Now we've got a whole CMA process for all of you if you want to see that as well. We've got another video on that. But I have more than one AI look at the CMAs of what's going out there because these, they screw up. They
Mhm,
screw up.
mhm.
Nina, were you cut off before? I want to make sure that we didn't inadvertently cut you out.
No,
Oh,
no, all
okay.
set.
Okay, good. Well, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Okay, Kenny Bellini with the
Hey,
cat.
yes, I bought your book and I need to buy another one because my wife stole it already.
Oh, good. Well, that's
I'm gonna
great.
buy I'm gonna buy a couple to give out to people too. So I didn't even know what a prompt was, guys, when I got on here. I still don't. I mean,
So
I,
and Kenny, like I said, I'm in California at the end of next month.
yeah,
So the lunch is on me as it always is. So the book's getting
cool.
more and more valuable by the second. Um, but no, I'm glad that she likes it, and we're now working on that. By the way, somebody said we'll get dated. Yes, very quickly, and in about 6 months, I'm going to release the new revision. I plan to do a revision every 6 months. There's things already that are coming out today that as it becomes more popular. Anybody hear of Perplexity Computer? Anyone hear of Perplexity? A couple of you. Okay, Perplexity Computer just came out. Blows me away. Costs a lot of money, Stephen. You're not going to like that. We were talking about the budgets and all of this. All of you are, but the incredible agility and ability that this has is really just quite remarkable. I've just done some remarkable things. I've taken code that I created from Claude Code, put it into this other AI, again, LLM stacking or AI stacking into Claude, Perplexity computer, and I asked for what the flaws were, how to improve it, and it spins up multiple agents to actually take a look at this. One other thing, if you could send me an email, I'm planning on sometime next month having a specific meeting, non-scheduled, regular scheduled meeting on how to utilize Claude Code. It's a much more advanced kind of topic. Even if you're not that advanced, you might want to go, but it's not going to be really real estate related as much as it is computing related and how you can put it to use for you. If anyone's interested in that, please, Edmund at bogenhomes.com. I would love to have you at that meeting. I'm working on getting a couple speakers as well. So it should be a very special event. And as I said, I believe that this is kind of the route that we're going down right now in not just purely agentic computing, but rather they're kind of like your co-partner or doing 90% of the work, and Claude is doing that best right now. So anyone else? Okay. Terry, it's been a long time. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. Well, Terry says, oh, sure. It makes me say, wow, it sure was good to see all of you today. It was really great having you, and I look forward to seeing all of you either on Friday at 12 noon for another recap of this topic or next Wednesday at 9 a.m. for another exciting episode of
REIGNation.
Mazel Tov. I love that. Okay, guys, listen, good to see everybody. If anyone has any questions, please do let me know, and I look forward to seeing all of you real soon.
Thanks again, Edmund, as
Thank
always.
you, and a wonderful day.
Thank you. Take care.